go?
A letter from Greece.
I did the cross sign.
Ziki, this is from Acts 20 and Romans 1. That's a new one. What's Acts, Ziki? What kind of book is Acts?
Are we reading about Romans now?
Look, we're going to finish Acts. Acts is like a history book. And we're going to start in Romans. Okay? I believe Romans is a letter to the Romans.
Tomorrow, I think we're Romans.
Tomorrow is Romans 2, Romans 3, Romans 4.
Romans, I think there's another 6.
Okay? Romans is big. We're going to be reading Romans for a while.
Romans.
A lot of Romans, yeah. We're going to be on that for a while.
What is this?
Looks like Jesus baptizing someone. Or maybe it's Paul. I don't know. When we read it, we'll find out.
Romans.
Romans. Okay, that's enough Romans.
There's a lot of Romans. There's a lot.
Okay, so we're finishing Acts. Acts is like a history book. And then we'll start Romans. Okay? Romans is a letter, Ziki. Who do you think the letter is to? The Romans, the people in Rome, right? The city of Rome? You think? Okay, we'll see. What's up, Ziki? Okay, Dada's going to start reading. You listen, you answer question. You answer properly. If you answer properly. Okay? You listen, you answer properly. He wants to look at his paper while we're reading. Okay? You go over there. You listen, you answer properly. And then we relax after that, son. Because you said you were tired. Paul traveled through Macedonia. He cheered up Jesus' followers there. At last, he came to Greece. He stayed there for 3 months. Okay? Where was Paul before he went to Greece, Ezekiel? No. Put the crayon down if you can't listen.
I think it starts with an A.
Starts with M.
Macedonia.
Yes, he was in Macedonia. Then he went to Greece. While Paul was in Greece, he wrote a letter. He sent it to his friends in Rome. Okay? Who did he write a letter to when he was in Greece?
His friends in Rome.
Yeah. It says, to my friends in Rome. Okay? Now we're in Romans 1. I'm praying that God will let me come see you. Lots of times I made plans to come see you, but I haven't been able to come. I want to teach you the good news about Jesus. I'm not shy about the good news. It's God's power. It saves everybody who believes. First, it saves the Jewish people. Then it saves the people who aren't Jewish. God shows how we can be right with him. We can be right by believing. Who does the good news save first, according to Paul?
The Jewish people.
Yes, the Jewish people. And then it saves the people who aren't Jewish.
Yeah. Who is not the Jewish? Is not the Jewish bad? Who is not bad?
They're not bad. Paul just makes a point of saying, first, God's good news saves the Jewish people, and then it saves the people who aren't Jewish. Okay? I think he's saying that, Ziki, because Jesus died in Jerusalem, and that's where all the Jewish people were. Okay? And then, after that, the good news gets spread to the whole world. Okay? But the Jewish people were the first people to hear about the good news. Paul goes on, God is showing his anger. He is against anything that leaves him out. He is against sinful people who hide the truth by their sins. What is God against, Ezekiel?
The high truth.
Sinful people who hide truth
Hide
with their
truth.
sins.
It sounds like hide. Like hide.
They're
Hide like it's like hide. Hide. It's like
with their hide.
scent.
What are they hiding, Ezekiel?
The scent.
They're sinning, and because they're sinning, they're hiding truth from their lives. Okay? With their sins, they can't see the truth because they're so full of sin in their life. So they're hiding the truth. What is the truth, Ezekiel? The truth is the good news that Jesus died for us, the gospel. Okay? They can't see that though because they have so much sin in their life. That's what Paul's saying. These people know about God. God clearly showed who he is. He showed his greatness. People can see his greatness by looking at what he made. So there is no reason for people not to believe. You know what, Ziki? What did Paul say is proof of God's greatness? Okay, I'm going to say it again, and then I'll explain it if you have a question. These people know about God. God clearly showed who he is. He showed his greatness. People can see his greatness by looking at what he made. How can people see God's greatness, Ezekiel?
Looking at made.
At what he made. What did God make? Did God make that bush right there, the tree?
Yeah.
Okay. Paul's saying God's creation, the nature, all this stuff he made, you and me, and Honey Bear the dog, and a horse, and a shark. He's saying that's proof of God's greatness. God's creation, that's proof of his greatness, according to Paul. These sinful people knew God. They didn't show how great he was, and they didn't thank him. Their thoughts were no good. Their hearts were foolish and dark. They said they were wise, but they were really fools. They made figures of people and animals. What's that called if someone makes figures of people and animals?
I think that's called, did you hear about that?
We've read about that all throughout the Bible, Ziki. If you made a figure of a fake god, what's that called? Idols. Exactly. Okay, that's what he's talking about. They made figures of people and animals. They said these idols were God. They didn't worship and serve their maker. Instead, they worshiped and served what they made, which is those fake gods. So God let them go. He let them have the sin their hearts wanted. They didn't even care about their own bodies. Instead, they sinned with sex. They threw away the truth of God. They held on to a lie. God let them do what they wanted so badly to do. He let them do things that made them feel like nothing. Men wanted sex with men. Women wanted sex with women. This is not the way God made it to be. In our bodies, they were paid back for their sin. They didn't think it was important to know God. So he let them have minds full of nothing important. He let them do what they shouldn't do. Sinful people are now full of all kinds of sin. They want what others have. They kill, they fuss and fight. They lie. They hate people. They say bad things about others. They hate God. They are rude. They are proud. They brag. They make up new ways to sin. They don't obey their parents. They don't think. They don't believe. They seem to have no feelings. They are not kind. What do sinful people do, Zeke? What's
they
one
don't
example?
follow their parents and they're not kind.
There, that's two good examples. Paul listed a whole bunch of things, okay? This is a good thing to go back to if you're ever like, oh, what's an example? Okay? What's an example of how to be good? Okay? One way to be good is to look at ways to avoid not being good. Okay? Romans 1 is a good example of that. They know what's right, Paul wrote. They know what God says. They know they should die for what they've done. But still, they do these things. They think it's all right when other people do those things too. You have questions, Iki? Okay. What's it time for?
I'm almost done with my art.
Okay.